What up, what up, what up? It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, and welcome to the RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. And today I got my defensive starts and sits for week 3. 3 defenses you should be starting and 1 defense you should be fading. You know the deal. So let's get right into the episode. First up, I got the Patriots defense going against the Jets this week. This is finally the break that the Patriots defense needed, man. I mean, going back-to-back weeks, facing elite offense with the Dolphins and the Eagles, man, this is the break they finally needed, but they weren't terrible in those games. They held both of those defenses to 25 points or less. So now they were going up against the Jets, who have Zach Wilson at the starting quarterback. Now, I don't need to sell you too much on how bad Zach Wilson is and why this is a lock, but man, come on. The Patriots defense going against Zach Wilson, where Zach Wilson has always been terrible going against the Patriots. He's been struggling already as it is with only 2 weeks into football. So now you have the Patriots going up. This is a lock this week for the Patriots defense. I mean, Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if we look at his matchups in the past with the Patriots, 3 of those 4 matchups, he had 5 or less fantasy points, man, and 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions total in those matchups. So I don't know what to tell you. This is obviously the most biggest lock here possible this week for week 3. So go ahead and lock in those Patriots defense into starting lineups. Next up, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the Texans, and this is a matchup that is great this week going up against a struggling Texans offense. I mean, listen, this is where a defense you put in, you're going to be expect big points here, because we've seen that how hard it's been for CJ Stroud to find time to get the ball out with this struggling O-line. If you were looking at the Texans O-line right now, they're top 4 in the league in QB pressures and hurry up. So this is where I think most of the points are going to come from the Jags, because right now they're already a top 10 defense in fantasy points right now. So they're going to be getting after the quarterback. And right now they have 6 takeaways, which is second in the league right now. So they're getting it done on defense and on special teams. So also remember, you're getting points from special teams when you put these defenses in starting lineups. So we're looking at this Texas O-line. They've been dealing with injuries since August, man. So they're banged up right now. So we can get the vintage, the old school Jacksonville Jaguars back maybe. This is where the core points are going to come from. So if you're looking for a defense that you can confidently put into your starting lineup this week, honestly, you could probably follow the Texans offense for the rest of the season right now and just plug in whoever defense they're facing that week. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are definitely a lock this week, where I think the Patriots and the Jags can finish inside the top 7 this week in fantasy points. So Jacksonville, let's get back to Saxonville and get these fantasy points this week. Next up, Monday Night Football, Rams versus Bengals. Now, this could be an opportunity for the Rams to step up, because Joe Burrow is dealing with a calf injury right now, so we do not know if he's going to play. So an opportunity for a young Rams defense to face the Bengals offense without a Joe Burrow. It's going to be an opportunity for them to kick them while they're down on the ground, man. Now, listen, with or without Joe Burrow, I think this is a great opportunity for them to maintain the points and have upside to put more points on the board in starting lineups. Now, we're looking at this Rams defense. They're young. They're flying around, getting every hat to the ball, and I definitely like the opportunity for them to be a streamer defense this week to go into starting lineups. Now, Rams defense right now, they've been getting it done. They're ranked 6th in the fewest total yards allowed and 5th in the fewest passing yards allowed in the league right now. So they're getting it done on that aspect against the tough division rivals the last 2 weeks against the Seahawks and 49ers. So they kind of contained the 49ers. So I like the swagger and momentum they're going into it with this game. Now we're looking at the Bengals offense. They've been struggling. They're dead last in total yards per game right now in the NFL. So this is a great, easy matchup for the Rams. It should be easy, I should say. I shouldn't talk in absolutes, but some notable stats about the Rams defense so far. They're second in opponent third down percentage right now, which means that these drives are not staying alive. They're tied third fewest in points allowed in the second half, and also allowing the fewest passing yards allowed in the second half. So Sean McVay and that defense are making strong adjustments and locking up these teams in the second half. So this obviously seems like a safe play to go ahead and put the Rams in starting lineups to clean up any points that you're lacking over the weekend, because again, it's a Monday Night Football. So this is an opportunity for them to actually put some more points on the board in the starting lineups and clean up any areas that you've dealt with in the week with injuries or guys not showing up on Sunday. This could be an opportunity to have big points on the board with the Rams defense in starting lineups. Now to get to one of my fades of week 3 defenses, and man, this might surprise some people because this defense has been pretty good the last couple of weeks. They've been really feisty, but man, it's the Colts going against the Ravens this week. Now they had me kind of shook. Now don't get me wrong, this defense is pretty solid, but now you're going against a Ravens offense who's starting to heat up right now. And also worth mentioning that they're also not the Texans or the middle of a pack, offense in the Jaguars. This will be a real test to that defense to see what they can do. Now, this defense, they're 5th in sacks, 10th in QB hits, and have 3 takeaways. Now, my biggest fear here, though, they're going to get a slice of this humble pie going against Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken's new offense. I mean, they're putting some great things together. We know how electric Zay Flowers is, and you got Nelson Aguilar making plays last week and even finding the end zone. So right now, you got Mark Andrews on the way back near health. He also caught the end zone, but this is a offense completely different from a middle of a bunch Jaguars offense, and obviously the struggling Texans offense as well. So they're on my fade list this week, just based on if you need a defense this week to maintain the 10 points or actually get you more points on the upside, because you're lacking in other areas on your roster where you need the points, they might end up hurting you rather than helping you this week, having them in starting lineups. So I would be looking for other areas to pivot to, because this Ravens offense is heating up, like I said, and they kind of got me shook right now. So I would be looking at other areas to put into starting lineups for week 3. This wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports, but before we get out of here, let's do a quick recap of 3 defenses that I think you should be starting and 1 defense that I think you should be fading this week. First up, we got the Patriots going against the Jets. This is obvious why the Patriots are locked, but going up against Zach Wilson, so I don't need to go into too much why this is a lock this week. Next up, we got the Jags versus the Texans. The Texans are struggling right now on offense, and specifically at their O-line, dealing with injuries that date back to August on that offensive line. So this might be the reincarnation of Saxonville Jaguars. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup. Next up, we got Rams versus Bengals. Now, this might be an opportunity for the Rams defense to step up with a banged up Joe Burrow, or there might be a possibility that Joe Burrow doesn't show up Monday and they'll be facing a lack of experience backup quarterback. So next up for my fade of the week, man, the Indianapolis Colts going against the Ravens have me shook. This is a matchup I'm not confident in putting Indy into starting lineups with the Ravens starting to heat up on offense. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's run them up. Let's get to 20K, people. Let's get to 20K. Hit that subscribe button right now. Please make sure you guys follow me on all social media platforms at Real Deal Fantasy. Until next time.